Welcome to G7CR Spotlight, Season 1, Episode 7. Young, dashing, energetic. Amar, are you welcome to the spot?
Thank you so much, sir.
Hottest girl in G7.
This is so tough. I don't think I'll be able to answer that.
Okay. You basically failed one question. No problem. Okay. Who would you like to kill in G7 given an opportunity?
Why is this such kind of questions? Killing this salary by half.
Coming back to school, who was the crush? We all had those girls.
You want to name that person?
I don't know, up to you. I would love to know the name. So, any such experience you remember where
I think it was all of a sudden stopped. So I lost my job. So that was tough too. And that's how my journey, my life in Bangalore began.
Today I have with me a very interesting personality, someone who most probably I'm going to be spending the most time with, has been with us for over 2 years. I was told just as I was coming to this interview, worked out for over a month to reduce weight for this show, to be on the spotlight. So the young, dashing, energetic, okay, enterprising, and before I could see all the girls basically now thinking, who is this? Before you think further, married, 4 kids. Okay, so welcoming on the show today, Amir Ali. Amir Ali, welcome to the spot.
Thank you so much, sir.
Amir, it's really a pleasure to have you on this show. I really am looking forward to get to know you. So I'm going to most probably enjoy what this conversation we should have had much earlier.
This is a chat show, not an interview, I believe. I think you used the word interview a short while ago.
Oh, I did? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay, so I'm very happy to have this conversation, get to know you better.
Coffee with Karan kind of a show.
Coffee with Karan kind of a show. Amazing. So Amir, we're going to start with most probably getting to know you as an individual. Okay, so where would we like to start? I mean, when do you remember? What is the earliest memories you have of childhood?
I was born in Hyderabad, basically.
Oh, excellent. Okay, I didn't know that. Anyway.
Born in Hyderabad. Not a pleasant childhood, I would say, because my parents divorced when I was just 6. 6. And then my father took me to Chennai, to my aunt's place. So my aunt had her own responsibilities. She had her own 3 kids. And then me and my sister were also she had to take care of us also, our studies and all that. And my father wasn't a responsible person. So it was tough growing up with, in that kind of environment basically. But kudos to my aunt. She somehow managed to, get me and my sister educated and So that was the early childhood that I had.
How many brothers and sisters were you?
I only have one sister.
One sister. So it's
she's in Mumbai right now, married.
And sister also grew up with you in auntie?
Yes.
Oh, big thank you to the auntie actually.
Thank you
You're
so
with
much.
us today
But
because
she
of her.
just, I think 3 years back, she expired because of cancer ailment. So that was tough to sort of digest.
Where was your schooling then? In Chennai itself? Or?
Schooling I did in Chennai.
Okay.
School called Holy Trinity Senior Secondary School.
Okay.
So till 10th I studied there.
Okay.
Then +1, +2, or 11th or +1, +2 I did at school called Gil Adarsh Matriculation Higher Secondary School. Again in Chennai basically.
Excellent.
So that was my schooling part.
Wonderful. Tell me something about school. I mean, how many friends did you have? What were the naughty stuff you did in school?
School life was great. I mean, naughty stuff. I wasn't a naughty person to say, but I did participate in all the curricular activities that a normal a school will involve you into, basically sports and all that. So I did participate.
Which sport were you in? We'd love to hear that.
I was good at table tennis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. I thought you were going to say cricket because
I also participated in fashion shows during my college days and all that.
Wow. Okay. So I was right when I said the dashing, handsome Amir Ali. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you win any?
Yes, we won. We went to Madurai Medical College, and in the fashion show we got the first prize.
Wow,
Our team got the first prize.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, what were the things you got punished for? Do you remember getting punished? We all got punished as kids. Do you remember getting punished?
Yeah, I mean, you don't do your homework on time, maybe teachers punish you.
That's it. You didn't do anything naughty, huh?
Nothing naughty.
Only homework. Excellent. What about home? I mean, did you ever basically get into trouble at home or something?
As I told you, I did not have a good childhood. My father wasn't wasn't taking care of us.
Okay.
So that part we were always like troubled, and we were always like we felt as if we are dependent on somebody else.
I understand.
So that was difficult to digest basically.
Were you good at studies?
Okay, kind of a guy.
Okay, kind of. But then I think with the sports activity
At
and
school
studies,
level, I did well. I think I scored about 80%.
Okay.
But when I went to college, I think my performance went down. I just somehow managed to clear my engineering exams with 64.6, I believe.
but you did engineering right after 12th, right?
Correct.
So,
Yeah,
so
I did my engineering.
This was through the seat common entrance test and so on.
No. It was financed by our community.
Oh, wonderful. And you did engineering in computer science.
EC, electronics and communication.
Electronics and computer science. Excellent. Coming back to school, who was the crush in school? What was that girl you used to look at and basically not tell? We all had those girls.
You
in
want
our
to name
lives.
that person?
I don't know, up to you. I would love to know the name. It depends on whether you want to put her at risk if she's married.
Every kid has, every growing up kid will have some crushes.
Definitely, that's part of life.
Even I had.
You had only one or many?
Couple,
Okay.
2 of them, I believe.
Okay, wow. In school, this is.
Yeah, school. This.
Oh my God! You're going to go back home. Your wife is going to hear this. Now. She's going to ask you. You're not telling us in the spotlight. You'll definitely have to tell her today.
Correct.
Amazing. And how was college? I mean, was engineering tough because you said your average in studies was it difficult or?
I did my engineering at a college called Muhammad Sadek Engineering College, which was 12 hours from Chennai. It was at a place called Kilekari,
Okay.
Ramanathapuram district. So it was a hostel life for us, 4 years.
Okay.
The food wasn't that good, and I mean, when you have a transition from school life to college life, and everything changes basically.
Absolutely.
In school life, parents are there, teachers are there to maybe supervise you. But when you go to a college, you're on your own basically.
Right.
Nobody bothers about how you're going to study or what you want to do, how you spend your time.
Absolutely.
Nobody takes interest in your life basically. So you have to take care of yourself.
Totally.
And normally what happens is majority of us, when we have that transition and we go into the college life, we end up doing all kinds of things, and so you basically your focus drifts away from your studies and you're into lot many other activities. I did. My interest in studies went down when I went to college, to be frank.
Sure. I think this happens to all of us actually, because we keep waiting to go to college from school,
Correct.
go to college and then miss the school.
Correct.
I think, why did we come to college? But you've given me now a lot of spice. You said you get distracted and you go into all activities, other activities. Now, can you give us something about these all other activities? What did you do?
Bunking classes, going to movies with your friends,
Oh, okay.
going out, not going to classes regularly. So that was something
Did you get caught? Did you get in trouble with college authorities?
No.
Never got caught doing all of this
Nothing of
stuff?
that sort.
Nothing.
Teachers, teachers used to say, when you came into, when you were into your first year, you were good at studies, but now why your interest has gone down?
Right.
Why you're not giving your 100%? So normal that kind of.
Was there a girl in life at that point of time? Usually you get naughtier when there is a girl in life.
She was one of my seniors basically.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I was too hesitant to approach her.
So
it was
she never knew.
She knew, but I did not sort of, went up to her and sort of tried to, take that relationship one step ahead. I didn't do that actually.
Excellent. Wow. Okay. So do you regret it, or you're okay that you didn't do that?
Uh,
That's a difficult question, but I'm still going to let you
Difficult
answer.
no, I did not regret.
You don't regret it. Excellent. And in terms of the college itself, in how many years? That was 4 years, right?
4 years.
4 years of engineering. You were able to pass exams, or you had to retake exams or something like that?
I think one engineering drawing, I believe,
Okay.
I wasn't able to clear. But later on in the next semester, I was able to clear that.
Which was your best subject in college? Which was the one which you really liked to study?
I think it was biomedical instrumentation, I believe.
Okay.
I think I top scored in that paper.
Oh,
It was just one paper, I believe.
And in all the bunking, and apart from bunking and most probably missing classes, going to movies, what were the other naughtiest things you remember? I mean, things which were fun, things which were happy moments.
Happy moments. I don't recollect any.
You don't recollect. Okay. Were you the party types? I mean, did you start smoking, drinking, any of this during that engineering time?
Yeah, we used to, as I told you, when we used to bunk our classes and go for movies and all that.
Okay.
At that time, we used to have drinks and we used to smoke and all that.
Do you smoke now and drink?
No,
Or
no.
you totally. So that was just that phase of life.
Ah,
which-
just that phase of the life.
Excellent. It's always good to experience everything in
Yeah,
the never
definitely, I mean.
Okay. And after engineering, what happened? Did you get your campus interview there?
No, after interview, I wasn't getting a job. So my cousin from Mumbai,
Okay.
he said, Amir, why don't you come to Mumbai and we'll try something for you
Okay.
at my friend's place. So he called me there and I went to Mumbai, Dahisar, a place called Dahisar.
Oh, okay.
Stayed at his place for a job. And got to work at Junction 96 Digital Services Private Limited. It was a chain of cyber cafes in Mumbai.
Okay.
So that was my first job.
Wow.
I took it up and I was working there for some time.
Excellent. And what was the kind of role there? I mean, cyber cafe.
It was like
was a technical, non-technical role.
no, not technical. I mean, you just had to take care of the entire center. Basically.
Center. If someone says the internet site is not
supervise
opening, you'll have to
billing and
check
all
what's
that.
happening.
Yeah.
I remember those were the days of cyber. Everybody was
Yeah,
in a cyber
yeah.
cafe.
Cyber cafe, correct.
Excellent, excellent. Because I've seen your profile, 6 jobs it said. So this was the first. What happened next? I mean,
Then when the funds stopped coming in, it was through some funds I believe that the company was running, and it all of a sudden stopped. So I lost my job.
okay.
And I also had some kidney stone problem at that
Oh,
time.
okay.
Yeah.
Sad.
So I left that and I came to Chennai once again.
Okay.
And then I came to Bangalore for a job in a call center called Accenture.
Excellent. Okay.
So I took up that job, second job with Accenture. And that's how my journey my life in Bangalore began. So ever since I came to Bangalore with that job, I've been in Bangalore.
Bangalore, excellent.
I've not gone to any other city or
Okay.
other
So
places.
work has been, most of the born in Hyderabad, most of the childhood and studies in Chennai.
Yeah.
And then
Life here
Mumbai,
in
first
Bangalore.
job, and then after that everything in Bangalore.
Yeah,
Where did you get married? Which time did you get married? In the Accenture job or much later?
I think I got married when I was around 28, 29, I believe.
Okay.
Because my eldest son is now 14 years old.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
yeah. At that time, I believe. 27, 26, I believe, maybe. Exactly.
So just taking it away before we come to your work life and talk to you about your other jobs and so on. Okay, tell us about the marriage. I mean, was it arranged? Was it love? How did it happen?
My first marriage did not go through well.
Okay.
I divorced my wife, and after some period of time, I got into a second marriage with my current wife. So I have 3 kids from her. So altogether, it's 4 kids now. And now it's stable.
Was it a love marriage or
Arranged marriage.
arranged marriage?
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
I put my profile on a matrimonial website called Nika.com.
Oh, okay,
And I
okay,
approached my wife's brother
okay.
through the portal.
Excellent.
And they said, come over, we would like to see you.
Okay.
So there was no parents with me. I just had to, go on my own.
Oh,
Yeah, visited their place, had spent some time with them.
okay.
And then they said, okay, fine, we are okay with this proposal.
I mean, so you arranged your own marriage.
Yeah,
actually.
I arranged my own
Very
marriage.
interesting. Excellent. And in terms of basically the support that you get from home, how responsible is it for your success today?
My wife, I need to, she's a super lady. She's taking care of the cooking and the washing, taking care of kids, their school and all that. She's been a pillar of strength for me, basically.
Amazing.
Without her, I wouldn't have actually, been able to continue my work. So I'm really thankful to her.
Wow, we all are because we see you focused a lot on work, and I think
Correct.
that's a lot of the strength which comes from home. Amazing, amazing. You've got 3 kids, you said, 4 kids totally.
kids.
You said so. The oldest is 14. What is the age of the youngest?
Youngest is this December, I think he'll turn 3.
3. Okay. Wow. Okay. So you've been pretty active. Yeah. All going to school.
The last one is
Not yet 3 years.
maybe next year June, if schools reopen, hopefully, I should be able to enroll him.
A lot of people are either parents already, okay, and a lot of people are on the way of becoming parents in G7, okay, and I've always felt that there is no rule book for parenting. Now with 4 kids, I would love you to give us some experience of how is it being a father to 4 kids? What's the experiences like?
For me, my wife and my kids mean the world to me. If they are not there, how can you live a life totally isolating yourself? You need a partner, you need kids at home. When you go to office, you work and you come back home, you want that feeling of belonging to somebody, togetherness. So family is everything for me, basically.
Wonderful. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Some joyful moments with kids. I mean, give us some experiences where, because when I also have a son, so when they are growing up, they give you some of these amazing moments, right? These moments which you never forget. So give us some moments which you remember.
As you know, mobile phones are everywhere basically.
Right.
So my kids, they're also into YouTube and watching films and videos every time. So of late, my son, who's almost going to be 3 now, he started speaking some English words. Oh my God, awesome! So I was like, where is this coming from, basically?
Okay.
So those are joyful moments when you see your kids,
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. And today's kids are going to be much smarter than us.
Much smarter,
They've got the whole world on the phone for them, which we never had.
Which we never
In terms of jobs now, coming back to your work life now, then how long were you in Accenture?
Accenture, I believe 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. I would say.
Or was it night shifts or it was?
Yeah, continuous night shifts.
Oh, night shifts. I mean, how was the experience there? I mean, was it fun? Usually BPO life comes with a lot of fun. At least that's the kind of PR they do.
Initially, when you take up a new job, it's a new challenge, so you feel that you should give in your best and all that.
Right.
But over a period of time, the night shift started, taking a toll on your body. Basically, they start taking a toll on your body.
Definitely.
So then I was interested in learning Linux. Basically,
Okay.
that subject sort of attracted me.
Okay.
So while I was working in Accenture, I thought of taking up a course in Linux and also pursue some, studies besides also working in night shifts.
Okay.
So I started going to an institute and started learning Linux.
Okay.
And then Tushar from Alchemy Solutions.
I
he
know
approached
Tushar.
me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So he said, would you be interested in taking up a corporate training job
Right.
in Linux? So I said, yeah, fine, I'm interested.
Excellent.
So that was the transition from call center to moving as a corporate trainer in Linux, basically.
Wow, wonderful. Now I'm going to ask you something because I understand this experience. I was a trainer too. I've done corporate training. Which was the first training program you did?
It was in Pune for shell scripting.
Okay.
And that was my first assignment. And I knew nothing of shell scripting, basically. And I was given this task of taking a shell scripting course.
Okay.
So I took it as a challenge, and they gave me the material I ever prepared.
Okay.
And somehow the delivery went well.
Well. How was the pressure then? Because I understand this job it's a glamorous job, right? A lot of people today out there think, corporate trainers, these guys make a lot of money and so on. But I would love to know how stressful was it when you had to study shell scripting at such a short notice, stand in front of an audience, deliver. What was the kind of pressure you felt at that time, or anxiety?
I was like, I had so many preconceived notions, like how will my training go? What kind of questions will come up?
Right.
Will I be able to answer them and satisfy their queries?
Right.
So that anxiety, the pressure was there basically earlier. But as I went ahead and started taking more and more trainings, then I kind of settled down with my job and profile.
Excellent. So you were freelancing or you were on the rolls of?
I was on the payroll, so I was not a freelancer.
You were on the payroll. Yeah. So then you switched from Accenture direct into Alchemy. So
Yeah.
That was your third job. Amazing.
I think initially I worked as a system admin, and then later on took up the corporate job.
Excellent. A lot of life has gone that way. I think Gulab also was more or less on the same lines.
Correct.
And how long were you now in this space in corporate training and so on? It was.
I think I spent about 10 years with Alchemy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
And
long
then there was a transition where I think I took up a job with a company called CMS Medical. They were into some medical transcription. Here at Lavely Road only, basically. So there I was there for about 8 months.
Okay.
But I wasn't able to sort of cling with them for some reasons. I had to.
Excellent. Okay. I think after that, Gulab referred you, right? Someone referred you here. I don't remember, honestly. Someone referred you.
Dinesh, I believe.
Dinesh referred you. Right. So you had come for an interview. Who interviewed you? Do you remember? I mean,
Gulab was there.
First interview.
Deepak was there. And then later on, you were there.
I was there. So I also took a round of
Yeah.
interview. Okay. And how has been the experience after that? I mean, you came into a world of technology implementation.
These are two totally different worlds,
Right.
Just having theoretical classes and doing some,
Labs.
routine labs, and then coming into a practical world, altogether real-time scenarios.
Right.
So those are two different, I would say, experiences basically.
Right.
But thank God that I was able to manage and survive.
Oh, you've been doing well. Okay.
Thank you so much.
So, what has been the most challenging part of the current profile that you have in terms of the most stressful moments you felt?
What I feel is this is a line where any ticket can come in from any subject.
Right.
So you have to be prepared to sort of at least have a good conversation with your customer, make them feel that you are there to help them out and sort of satisfy their queries or resolve their problems. So this is a different challenge altogether, and I've been loving that, ever since I joined G7CR. And hopefully I should be able to grow and enhance my skills and contribute to the development of the company.
Amazing, amazing. Any great experience, because in these kind of jobs you're basically working on critical support. So sometimes when you get things to get solved, you see a lot of appreciation and relief. So any such experience remember where you felt really good because you solved something?
I think it was in the initial part, 6 months down the line with G7CR. And I think it was Saturday I was the only one, because at that time, the cluster wasn't there. We just had one team,
Correct.
from Sparta supporting.
You do everything kind
yeah.
of stuff, right?
So any ticket comes in from whether it's Office or Azure, you were there. You had to support basically. So I don't remember the customer's name. He had one issue basically. The SSL site wasn't coming up.
Okay.
So we went into different directions and we were not able to get to a solution. All of a sudden, I remembered that for SSL, you need port number 443 to work.
Right.
Because, I had done this in my training class,
Right.
corporate job basically.
Right.
So I said, I have done everything apart from checking this particular thing. Let me go and check whether the configuration of 443 is there or not. And that one single line, listen 443 should be there in the configuration file for Apache. And that was missing basically.
Wow.
So I said, now this is a resolution basically.
Right.
I put that line and everything started working fine.
Oh, and you felt
So
really
the
good.
customer was happy, I was happy.
Amazing, amazing. I'm pretty sure there's always good, bad, and ugly. So, what is the most ugliest scenario?
Obviously, you will have all kinds of experiences.
Definitely.
You'll have customers who appreciate your contribution. You'll have customers, no matter how much you put in, at the end of the day, they'll keep cribbing in. They'll keep crying in. This guy wasn't there to support me. He did not do his job well.
Right.
So I've had so many kind of cases like that. Okay. But it's a part of your job. You'll have to take it in the right spirit and move ahead.
Excellent. How many reporting managers have you had ever since you joined?
Gulab.
Okay.
And then for a short duration, I believe Proloy.
Okay.
And then Manjunath.
Manjunath, excellent. Okay, so that's 3 of them.
3 of them.
Now I'm going to ask you the difficult questions now.
Sure, definitely.
Okay. In 3 of them, if you had to choose one as the best, who would it be?
Manjunath.
Manjunath, excellent. And how do you see their difference in style of operating?
Gulab has, all 3 of them have different
Styles,
capabilities and different styles. They all are good in what they do.
Right.
But if I were to pick one, as you asked me, I would pick Manjunath.
Manjunath. Okay. How are they different? What would the biggest differentiator between Gulab and Manjunath, for example?
Gulab is also very, in terms of partial scripting, any partial scripting that you have a problem with, he's there to support you and he comes up with the solutions. Proloy also is very good in that arena. But when it comes to Manjunath, when it comes to breaking down a problem,
Right.
Into components,
Right.
and look into the right areas.
Okay.
Where could the problem be?
Okay.
Manjunath is really excellent in that.
Excellent. Okay. Wow. Okay. And where is Proloy's strength? You also reported short.
Proloy also is very good in the Windows area and partial scripting.
Okay.
Gulab is excellent in Linux
Okay.
and also in partial scripting. So he's very good in both the areas basically. Proloy is very good in Windows.
Excellent.
Manjunath is good in everything, I believe.
Wow.
Linux, Windows, networking. You give him any problem and he'll break it down for you.
Amazing. Now, apart from the immediate reporting people, I think you also had some engagements with, a level higher in the hierarchy. Most probably Deepak. And I think I've also engaged with you on some small tickets. And I remember, I will never forget, you gave me a gift within a couple of months after you joining, right? You remember?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So, how has been your experience or relationship with Deepak or Chris? I mean, was there a relationship with Chris at all? I mean, Deepak.
It's a very open kind of a relationship. Any problem you have, you can just walk into Deepak's cabin and explain him what the problems you are facing. So
Excellent.
that liberty is always there.
Right.
Though I haven't actually approached you earlier. I mean, but Deepak and Gulab were always approachable.
Always
and, no problems.
Excellent. Okay. If there is something that you have to change, I'm going to make you the MD of G7 right now, and there's something that you want to change, your first decision. What would be your first decision?
My first decision would be like I will try and make sure that my employees will stick to a 9-hour kind of a job.
Okay.
I want them to come to office, give in their best, and also spend some time with their families and kids. Go to the gym, or look after your health.
Right.
So that is something I would like to look into.
Excellent. Currently, is that very often against that, or I mean, is it against that where people are working more than that very often?
Correct, because our profile is like anytime a customer calls you, you have to be there, right? So that is something I would like to change.
Oh, definitely. That's a good change. I mean, that's a nice change to bring in now.
Correct.
Hopefully, I'll make you the MD soon, or I'll make that decision. In terms of the good things that you see in the company, what would be the good things that you see? Things which you liked?
Everything is good with G7CR. I mean, the way we interact with our customer, the kind of problems that come to us. The management has always been helpful. Look at the lockdown period. G7CR, the management was immensely helpful to all the employees, looking after them, looking after the furniture, or whether it was the internet billing, or So the management was always there with us. The backing was there, and that really helped us focus our attention towards customer satisfaction.
Excellent. Who are your best friends in G7?
Manjunath is there, Gulab is there. Okay. These two, I think, people are there whom I can always approach and.
So best buddies. They are the
best buddies.
Excellent. Okay. And in terms of your experience with the other colleagues and so on, can you think of some experiences where you were a fight with a colleague, or you were angry at least? Maybe you didn't fight, but you were angry.
Yes, that will happen. Yes, I had those moments and experiences.
I'm not going to let you go. I'm not going to let you go with a yes. Now I want you to give us one of such scenarios which was at the top of your mind right now. Something which was extreme, where you were upset and.
I don't think I should be thinking that.
Give us the story. Don't give us the name of the person.
Yeah, that's okay with me. See, when your shift is over, basically, you give handovers to the next person who's
Okay.
Obviously, you can't be solving all of them in your regular 8-hour shift, right? So when your time comes and you have to give a handover, and you do that, and you expect your colleague to then sort of help you out, because when they give you handovers, you probably put in your best to make sure that since his shift is over, you will have to somehow now help him out.
Right.
So I also have those expectations that when I help them out, and if I give my handovers, they should be looked into in the right way. So if that is not looked into, then you feel angry and you feel
totally. I think natural.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you feel like beating up the person, or
no, not beating him, but I did scold him, and I told him, why aren't you doing this?
Okay. And in terms of the relationship, I mean, we've moved from this base where you did everything to a more specialized kind of system, where the cluster now is a group of people who are trying to work as a unit. Do you think the cluster approach is the better approach compared to the earlier one? Are you seeing a difference?
Difference is there. Difference is very, very much there, because earlier when it was just Sparta, there was no cluster thing. But in between, we did have this transition where I think Deepak sort of brought this concept of having specialized people for specialized roles.
Right.
That was done. But once cluster came in, once again we had to revert to our older style of working, wherein any ticket that comes in, whether it's from Office or Azure or Firewall or any subject that you will have to take that and move ahead.
Because the customer belongs to the cluster.
Because we have a set of customers, and they can be from from any area basically.
Do you find the job more complicated now, or is it? is it equally complicated when it was?
It is getting more and more complicated because more and more customers are coming in from different expectations. So obviously your job will sort of become a little complicated as time goes.
How is your skill gap when you look at yourself 2 years ago? I think you're almost 2 years in G7, right? So when you look at yourself 2 years ago and you look at yourself now, in terms of learning per year, would you say this is immense skill that you're getting, or is it?
Immensely, because as I told you, because when you're into the training field, that is a totally different ballgame altogether.
Right.
And when you come to real life scenarios, real life problems,
Right.
that is completely different. So I believe, yes, my skills have enhanced, and I do have to work more and sort of enhance my skills in other areas as well, apart from Linux.
Linux, okay. What are the dreams, aspirations, Amir? I mean, where would you like to go from here? I mean, if you're thinking of a destination for you right now, what would that destination be?
For the last couple of years, I've been pondering, like, if I get an opportunity, should I move to Canada?
Okay.
Because I think of late many immigration schemes are coming up from countries like Australia and Canada.
Right.
So because the kind of environment that I see in India, is hatred, this concept of hate towards other communities, that's really troubling me basically. I don't want my kids to grow in this kind of an environment.
Right.
Where there's only hate between communities, killing people in the name of religion. That is something I don't like.
I think that troubles all of us, so I'm
Yeah.
with you on that. But I think there's some people who are going to be like that. For example, have you seen that kind of community bias or anything inside G7? I mean, honest answer,
No,
please.
I haven't seen that kind of thing in G7 here. That is not there in G7 here.
G7 here, okay.
Absolutely not there.
So, thank you.
Kudos to G7 for that.
Excellent. How secure do you feel with your job in G7? I mean, do you feel threatened at any point of time? Do you feel
No. Not at all.
You feel good and secure about it. Excellent.
Not at all. See, that is feeling shouldn't be there with any employee basically.
Right.
If that is there, then the employee will not be able to give his best.
Absolutely.
So that shouldn't be there with the employee.
Because then
The
your
employee has to-
anxiety of
Yes.
job loss is
Yes.
what will take most of your mind space, and
Yes,
then you're not
absolutely.
focusing on
Absolutely.
the right things.
Absolutely.
Amazing. In terms of people who are not so good with you, what were the bad experiences that you had in G7? And I'm talking about colleagues now, not about management or policy. In terms of colleagues, apart from this handover, is there any other kind of bad experiences that you had?
No.
No?
Apart from the handovers, I don't think. I mean, we work as a team, and we trust each other. We trust their capabilities. So other than that, I don't think we have any problems working as a team.
In G7, where would you like to grow? I mean, what is your goals there? I mean, do you have something which you're dreaming of, or you have something in mind that this is what I want to go next in G7?
Maybe move to a client and support more on their Linux aspirations. Focus on getting higher into Linux basically.
Linux, okay.
Upscaling your Linux skills to another level basically.
Another level, okay.
And supporting on-site clients, maybe visit them and look at their Linux problems, and that is something which I haven't done.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to do that.
Amazing.
If in
Hopefully-
case.
Hopefully we'll get such opportunities.
Yes.
Because in the world of cloud, the on-site becomes
Yes.
lesser and lesser because the
Yes.
cloud is in the cloud. So you can work from anywhere. But definitely we'll keep that as an aspiration. Financial aspirations. I mean, what are the dreams there? I mean,
I don't dream that big in terms of having a very luxurious life. I'm not that kind of a dreamy person. But obviously, yes, I want enough financial support to be able to look after my wife and kids, their education, give them a good quality of life. That is something that I'm looking forward to.
excellent.
That I should be able to, because my father wasn't that responsible when it came to my upbringing. But I want to be a very responsible
best.
father and make sure that I give them a very good quality of life, good education.
Amazing. No, a very good thought, and rest assured, we will ensure that we back every part of that dream of yours. And I mean, that's supposed to be something very fundamental. So we'll definitely basically ensure we give you all the support of that.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so Amir, is there something, you said there is nothing that you'd like to change in G7 except ensuring a shift is 9 hours, a quality work-life balance which is there.
Because you have a family, you have kids, and you also have to look, like as I told you, it's been 1 month now.
Right.
I said, no, I have to join a gym. It's
Okay.
like sitting on the laptop, taking tickets all the time. eating, sleeping, again going to the shift. That takes a heavy toll on your physical well-being also.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I thought, no, this is getting beyond a certain limit. I have to now do some physical activity. So it's been a month now, and I'm happy that I was able to take that decision.
Did the spotlight inspire that in some way? You knew you want to be on camera and you had to basically.
Yeah, that was also there. I mean, I don't want to sit on spotlight with a big tummy coming out. So I said, no, yeah, you'll have to change.
Amazing. Hopefully by January you'll be able to use the gym in the office.
Yes,
itself.
definitely.
Let me see if we can push that faster.
Definitely. Looking forward to the gym part and yeah.
Anything else you'd like to change? I mean, apart from basically this work thing, in terms of, I'm more talking about it in terms of thinking of the employees or thinking of the management, thinking of colleagues. Is there something you think should change or to make it better? Maybe it should not change, but if it changes, it will be better.
With respect to Sparta or with?
Overall, whatever knowledge you have about any department.
I'll tell with respect to Sparta. Because that's how I'm connected.
You have the
basically. That's where I mostly interact with basically. One change that I would like to make is that you should be given a specific set of areas that you are responsible for that. Not pick any ticket that comes, because you obviously cannot satisfy customers in all different areas. CRM, Attune, Office, everything you can't sort of, because when a customer calls you, he expects a resolution from you.
Right. And an immediate resolution.
Immediate resolution. Now, if I pick up a ticket and I don't have any idea about that subject,
right,
how will I be able to satisfy the customer? How will I be able to come up with a resolution when I don't myself know that subject? He's calling me. He's thinking that Amir is the person whom I should call out to, and he's there to help me out. Right. So if I'm not able to do that, then I feel bad.
Understand. Is the collaboration works because there's somebody else in that cluster who has that knowledge? I mean, isn't collaboration?
No, but it's a spontaneous thing. You pick up a ticket and you have to call the customer.
Question you don't have the answers.
It's a spontaneous thing, right?
Got it. So you can collaborate after talking to the customer, but before.
But at that moment of time, the customer really wants a resolution.
So he's pretty angry with you at that time. I got it. Amazing.
So when you don't know the subject, the customer. Then you start asking questions.
Right.
The customer thinks, यार इसको तो कुछ भी नहीं आता. तो मैं काहे को इसको call किया अभी?
Right. Totally. It spoils the whole experience.
Spoils the whole experience.
Amazing. In terms of your growth in the company 2 years, because I think there's one culture about G7 which you would have noticed. I mean, we've had people who got super growth, hyperbolic growth, who shot up very quickly, and we've got people who, everybody have grown in G7, but we've seen some people skyrocket. So in terms of that, what is your feeling about that culture at least?
See, not every individual will have managerial skills.
Right.
Not every person will get promoted.
Right.
If there are 50 people working in a company,
right,
not all 50 people can become managers.
There'll be no one to manage them.
So that's a natural process. Right. You should take it in the right spirit and give in your best.
Amazing.
Good things will happen to you. Naturally, it will come definitely.
Right. Okay. Everybody
you just have to have patience and keep giving your best.
100%. Amazing.
That is
wonderful. It's been great basically getting all these insights from you. And do you think that there's more proximity you will need with the senior management, or you think this is something which is good? I mean, have you ever felt that gap? No, I'm asking this question.
That's coming up, right? I mean, these spotlights and these kind of programs are coming up.
Right.
Which brings an employee closer to the management.
Right. At least we get to know the person, the human behind.
Correct.
Behind Amir Ali, the name.
Yes.
Excellent. In terms of your experiences with family itself, how often do you fight now? I have to ask married people. This is mandatory on this show. What is the frequency of fights at home?
See, every person will have a different, what do you call? You say a coin has two faces, right? So when we come to office, we try to portray as if we are, very good. We don't have any bad qualities. We are not short-tempered.
Right.
That is a different kind of
different
personality that you try to portray when you come to the corporate environment.
So
when you go back home
right.
and something goes wrong, you are a totally different person. You shout at your wife, you shout at your kids.
Right.
So that is there with, I believe, every person.
Right. Okay. So what is the frequency of fights? Once in 10 days, or is it once a week? Or
once in a week, you can say.
Who wins? Who's the dominator at home? You or wife?
Me.
Okay. Now this is something again which I love asking married men. I like putting them in soup. Okay, how much do you flirt in office?
I haven't done that, I believe.
You haven't? No, you're not a flirt at all.
not a
Okay, I'll ask a lot of girls who come here. Did
Because
Amir Ali flirt
because
with you?
my colleagues, when I see they're half my age. I'm 44. Like I shouldn't be
Oh,
flirting
yeah.
with
Age
people.
is just a number, Amir. Amazing. So, Amir, I'm going to take you
Because everybody knows Amir is a married guy and he's got 4 kids. Nobody would like to come closer to you in such a scenario. Basically.
Oh, so you're saying you're not flirting because you think there's no opportunity. Anyway, so I mean, I'm going to take you into this last round of ours, which is basically a rapid fire round. Now, the rapid fire round is basically a round where I ask you a question, and the answer has to be the name of a person. Okay, it cannot be I don't know no one. Okay, it has to be the name of a
Person.
person. So, are you ready for this?
Sure.
Okay. So what we normally do at this stage is we take a break for the rapid fire. We give our crew a breather so that they get their recording stuff in place. And we'll come back in maybe 10 minutes and
Sure.
we'll do a 5-question rapid fire round with you.
Definitely.
Amir Ali, welcome to the rapid fire round. You ready?
Thank you. I'm ready.
You know the rules?
Yeah, I know the rules.
Okay, let me start with the first question. Hottest girl in G7?
Chandra.
Oh, wonderful. Chandra is going to be very happy. Hottest guy in G7?
Hottest guy, I think Deepak.
Wonderful. Deepak is going to be very happy. Okay. If you had an opportunity in G7, okay, to reduce somebody's salary by half.
Somebody's salary by half.
Who would that be?
I'll have to name that person.
Yes.
Is that mandatory?
Yes. That's the rules of rapid fire.
That's a difficult one, boss.
One person whose salary you would reduce by half if you had the opportunity. Because you had to. I mean, somebody had a gun on your head, you have to reduce somebody's salary by half. Whose would that be?
But I haven't come across such a scenario where.
Now there's a gun on your head, you have to reduce
will have
salary by half. Of one person in G7.
It's so tough. I don't think I'll be able to answer that.
Okay. You basically failed one question. No problem. Okay.
It's okay if I fail. Yeah.
Okay, somebody's salary apart from yourselves, you'd like to basically increase by 100% if given the opportunity.
Manjunath.
Manjunath, wonderful. Okay. Last question. Who would you like to kill in G7 given an opportunity?
Why is this such kind of questions? Killing somebody's salary by half. I wouldn't like to kill anybody. Why should I go to that extent that I know kill
No,
somebody?
given an opportunity. You're not going to do it. Okay. Given an opportunity. Sometimes you feel like killing someone, right? Or you're angry with someone. Okay. It's survival. If you don't kill someone, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Is it? Nobody comes to my mind in that manner, I believe. No, I won't be able to answer that.
Someone came to mind just now. I seen that name come there, but you don't want
To
to
that
give it.
extent, I don't think nobody's ever troubled you to that extent that you'll feel
Nobody's
like killing
troubled you.
somebody, you know?
Okay, guys, G7, we need to trouble Amir Ali a little more after the spotlight. Please ensure next time he's on spotlight, he wants to kill at least 2-3 people. Anyway, Amir, thank you so much for being on spotlight. We have a small culture of spotlight where we are going to give you a gift, of course, although you failed the rapid fire round badly. Okay, but I'm still going to give you the gift. Okay, so we will ask you to sign one of these cups for us.
Sure.
One of these cups are yours. Okay, you can take it with you. And one we will sign and we will keep it in a vault upstairs. So here is the cup, and give me a second to fish the pen out of my pocket. Here is your pen.
Thank you so much. Signature and date, is it?
Yes.
Wait, 17. Thank you so much. This one also?
No, one will do. That one is yours. This one is ours. We'll take this with us. We'll put this in the vault upstairs. Okay, so thank you so much. And Amir, personally, we appreciate everything that you do for G7. From the heart, thank you very much. Without all the contribution, those long hours that you've spent, the amount of trouble you've taken to solve those tickets for customer satisfaction, G7 would not be the successful company we are today. So thank you very, very much. And as a small gesture of appreciation for being in the spotlight today, we are going to give you another gift apart from the cup. This is a gift card from Amazon. So you can basically go and shop for yourself, 5,000 bucks.
Oh, great.
Okay, so this is yours.
Thank you so much for making us feel so special in GSMCR. It's been a great time and experience in GSMCR. And I wish everybody will have this experience in GSMCR. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.